Depends, really. Again, all matters on who gets that start, and obviously who plays with the hot hand first. You mentioned Cyrix earlier on, and honestly, I do not blame any bias whatsoever. I have some of my own for the guy. Cyrix is one of those people in North America you can't dislike. There's a very short list of people who you're on the nice list for. It don't matter who you ask. And Cyrix, he's one of them. So, I'm sure if you're a Limitless fan, you're a happy camper that Cyrix is here. And maybe even a Timberman fan. But point is, it's a CT-sided start for them in Limitless. If they want to guarantee their spot in ECL next season, well, this is where it starts.
Does indeed. A nice pistol round to kick it off would be amazing, but it's going to be a difficult defense that they have to get past first. Initial contact is going to be taken by Tender there. It's going to be a little exchange of bullets, but nothing too serious just yet. Cyrix clearing out, taking a lot of space under the underpass and heading over towards Connector. Has to be wary of the player that's now creeping into ladder room, though. But slips by completely unnoticed.
Giving them a lot of space here, Timberman, but they're ready to play secure, contain, protect. Shane, the first to start, snabs the response, but that's why you've got one hell of a supporting cast behind him. 4 on 3, and the bomb's going to go down.
That's a slightly worrying sign for the Timberman. They do have a kit on Shane. He's going to still have to move over quickly, and he's got to try keep himself alive as well. And now they're trying to clear these out. There's 1 kill, but the other 2, they've tucked themselves away. They're not going to give these away for free, but they are just going to hop straight on the defuse in the smoke. And there's so many people waiting, trying to guard this. And they managed to get the kill on the defuser. It's a stray bullet from Seb, and he's still going, gets a 3rd. And now that's it. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, and that kill on the diffuser in what had to be the last half a second changes everything. Seb single-handedly saves that round.
Honestly, it goes both ways, right? Because I think Timberman played that retake pretty damn well. It's just a slight difference of focusing on one player or another. You've got so many different eyes trained on the constantly re-peeking whack-a-mole looking T-side post plan of Limitless, and to their credit, that it works. Constantly peeking off of one another, making people look left, right, not getting a straight shot on the Palace player, not getting a straight shot on the Ramp player, and you can see the effect it has. One stray bullet makes a thing go for Limitless.
Tender going to be challenged here. It is only a USPS, but he's tucked in nicely and is going to go unspotted. Maybe that's a little bit of false information that they have unknowingly passed on between them. But doesn't really matter too much. That flank is going to come in potentially later, and by that point, will have already forgotten about it. But all starts now. Molotov for Van. And there's going to be so much commotion. Here's the jump down. It's going to be spotted out. Cyrix double takes, gets the kill. Pushing straight into market. The aggression is amazing. But Sandman on Catwalk has to get the first. He isn't quite ready for Snap in window. But it's a good start. And the bomb is already down. No kit available. A MAC-10 has been scooped up. And the flashbang. But there's so much to work with. And Seb's getting hungry with these frags.
I was going to say, if it's a MAC-10, do not blame them throwing it away, but Galil, I feel like that one's a little more important to keep in your hands, but they've got a nice crossfire, as long as they know what's about them. I don't really think Narrow's USP is going to have much success in running through a fully armored rifle. So now it's just Shane trying to cause a commotion at the last second. He heard that flash actually Tender, but how do you deal with him? The answer is you don't. You let him get away, and you let Limitless go up 2-0.
Yeah, Timberman, they did not really buy into that one, so this is going to be the first real test for Limitless, as they're on a little bit of a bonus here. You couldn't really tell just by looking at it. But Timberman, that AWP coming out early, and Nero going to be the one to wield it. Needs to be something to put this on the board, because they lose this round here, and they're back in the financial ditch that is the CT side. And now going for that opening peek, and someone is going to be unfortunate enough to peek into it. Luckily, the smoke just about covers the corner, and so Cyrix safe to cross into mid if he so desires.
Well, now is the interesting part for Timberman, because they've used up most of their flashbangs without a ton of a response from Limitless, so the Ops impact here is severely limited in what it can do, so they just post it up in CT, let him be fulfilled with the site anchor role, and try to spread their defense elsewhere. Dare takes up ladder, you've got 2 ready to fight back in con. This is all gonna play up off of Limitless taking first contact somewhere, and as soon as they do, it's a 3-man collapse. That molly from, molly into ladder, kind of uproots the whole thing. Dare can't fight, now it's a one-legged approach, and they're gonna try to force him out of ladder.
Yeah, it's actually not going to be spotted. You know he's there. Spot the side, takes him down, simple, clean. And now there's other people waiting and lurking in jungle that they have to be a little wary of. In the meantime, that warp is going to find one. And so the tides have turned a little bit back more evenly. Shane, that smoke is going to fade, and luckily he's got the angle on it. Sandman not ready and not looking. Maybe a bit of a faux pas there. Tender crawling on forward into that B site, and that's a missed shot from out of nowhere, and a kill that changes everything. Aleph trying to run away, spots the head, but can't quite pull the trigger in time before he finds himself dead. Cyrix with another, taps the bomb to try bait out the shots. Unfortunately, does in fact bait the fight and loses. Shane, of course, a Kadir player to watch this series, and he's already showing everyone who's boss.
It's another X Factor round. It's a big kill to close it, but I mean, you've got to give all the props in the world to Limitless on that take. It's a 3-on-4, it should be shut down, and Nero, he's got them right where they want him. Walking into the apartments, no flashes, you have to cross, and guess what? Tender knows that, just straight up takes his head clean off, and doesn't let the op get any impact on that beach site, and it would have worked if it weren't for that meddling kid in Shane on the clutch. Cyrix even had the right idea of that retake, just couldn't get ahead of it. And it doesn't mean Limitless are left without rifles, but it means they're kind of left in the dumpster if they can't pick up the following.
That indeed, and there's the opening pick once again. Now it is a really weak buy to contend with here, but losing someone that early on is not going to be ideal. And you're still sending the bomb on its own over towards B. I'm not sure how I feel about the bomb being unguarded right now. Especially with it's just Cyrix with a Tech 9, you know. It's very vulnerable, but they're taking a lot of space towards mid. Nav is going to be waiting, though. And whether he's caught on to the fact that there was a boost or not, has to be at least a little bit wary. Sandman's got one, but Snav's still waiting for a little bit more. Doubles down, and that's another kill. 2v4 on their hands. Sandman needs to alleviate the pressure for Cyrix to be able to activate. Unfortunately, unable to, and now he's got to do it all. But Aleph waiting, has the angle. And of course, the backup from Snav, but the timing there.
I don't know how much. Oh wow! Oh wow! That's that one stings, but that's why you got extra teammates on B. So you'll just laugh it off for now. Tech 9s. What are you gonna do? And I think timbermen are gonna keep a note of this, but Limitless now have had 2 rounds where they go for their initial hit, doesn't really work, and in the mid round they end up finishing B. Both times they actually, you know, went down a round, or down a player, as the times went quiet, his noise was cut. That's where they found themselves ending up. So Limitless should probably keep a note of that, to not make it too much of a habit. Obviously, you want to try working picks around the board, but just food for thought.
Always good to keep a finger on the pulse of any sort of patterns that you're seeing emerge, and now that they've got an idea that they're maybe on an eco, and all of these rounds where they're trying to be playing a little bit safer, a little bit more comfort round, they have gone B. So Aleph probably knows that something is coming for him soon, and is going to be able to call over that catwalk player Dare very quickly. Here's them all jump out. There's the first kill. A little bit of help from a teammate on that, but the kills come flooding in. Tender with another, however. The team damage this round has been really helping chip on in, but it is, of course, timbermen that take that round. They're going to upgrade some of their pistols in the midst of all that. But again, against an eco, not too much stock that we can put in it necessarily. Nice little bit of damage coming out from Limitless. Trying to keep a couple of these players' economy humble. You know, Aleph's been struggling a little bit. Shane and Snav, they've not really had the chance to build up too much either. So if they can keep trying to find these kills, even on the rounds that they're losing, they make their life just a little bit easier.
right now. Life might be easy for Nero, who's off looks to get aggressive in mid. I thought he was going to run straight out. No, instead they have the nade, pop it open. Looks like they bought up some double tap here for Limitless. 2 smokes to ensure that all has no visions deep into mid, but they still want to take it. They went down Con, threw in a couple of flashes. However, instead it's DJ's turn.
Ooh, the flashbang is immaculate. There's the pick onto Dare. And now this is the first time that they've managed to get the opening pick untraded since their initial 2 rounds. HE onto the head of Aleph. It's going to do good damage. Not enough for a kill, but definitely enough to soften them up. Nero, long line of sight waiting here. Maybe has to be a little bit careful because it looks like they're sending a player Palace and he is stood with not much cover right now.
I'm surprised. They keep Aleph in a very, very vulnerable angle toward connector. He's had good success here a couple rounds ago. We got the kill on Seb when he came up. He's great at finding these isolations, and Shane has just given him a golden ticket back into the round. Nobody's cleared corner, but Sandman from Palace has saved them, and it's Nero in his attempt for a 1-on-3.
Even a second quicker, and that would have been a multi-kill that turns everything on its head for Timberman. Sandman, honestly, single-handedly the winner of this round, but Nero not willing to let it go just yet. Gets another one. Make it 3, and all 3 of them more impactful than the last.
And that was almost a clutch because Nero, he knew Sandman was in Palace. He just barely, you talk about a half a second away from that being a multi-kill in their direction for Aleph. If it was a half a second sooner for Nero, he spots Sandman walking out of Palace and turns it to a 1-on-1 with the idea of where the last man is and the bomb down. These rounds being determined by matters of milliseconds, it fits the bill coming into this map.
It does. Timings. Oh. I like that they bought. I think it might surprise Limitless a little bit here. They really want to just try keep this AWP happily padded and with the security it needs to properly thrive. But it's not exactly got the greatest bodyguards arming it. However, maybe they can work some magic. Nero's had a pretty stellar game so far. Aleph waiting. Actually, B left relatively alone in the early rounds, so he's probably wondering what's going on right now. He's heard nothing, seen nothing. And it's over in mid that there are issues. Nero missed shot. It's information at the very least. Now, turns his attention back towards Palace. Still so paranoid from the proceeds and Sandman crazy 3K, but it's actually through connector that they've got issues. Now, are Limitless going to be careful and check jungle this time? They've had a couple of issues where they've not really been checking the angles that they need to. There's no one there. You want to see them doing their due diligence. Shane burning alive. Snav has to be the one to help do something. Gets a kill. However, that is going to be it because Tender's ready to trade. Aleph, Dare, has Seb waiting, holding suicide, and they've got to run round CT instead. Bomb goes down. And a lovely boost up position here to watch. The utility is going to give away that they're coming. Naturally, the call to save really should be made right about now.
Okay, never mind. I thought for a moment they actually didn't have armor on Aleph, so this op save wouldn't have really done them anything. But, nah, they should be fine now. In fact, I really like the setup they bring into this round, but it doesn't mean Limitless are done giving him a fight just yet. Tender, he's going to move all the way through from Market. This makes things so much more complicated. Dare needs the second frag, and with Tender so low, it's par for the course for a guy like this. Again, the core of Timbermen, it runs long, it runs deep, and you expect very confident plays out of players like that. So, well-earned are their weapons, but dropped is the lead. Limitless recoup it where they lost it, and honestly, that was a good effort from both squads in that site defense. We saw so much underbout. We saw great distraction from Shane in the middle of the site, dropping a smoke on the molly, buying time, letting Snab try to work with that MP9, and to their credit, he gets a kill. Right? It's just there's so many different prongs to that approach from Limitless that eventually you're going to fall apart. You got 2 from Con, you got 2 from Ramp, and you just don't have the means to fight back. So it is what it is, and they set the op up at B, which right now is ready to defend from the entire attack.
Yeah, first jump out wasn't successful, but he's ready and waiting now. Battle of the orbs, and it's Spirits that's got the orb on them, and I say that he doesn't have the orb anymore, and Tender doesn't have his life either. Sandman does actually find something to try even the number of kills, but it is still a little up for debate here. weapons haven't been retrieved by the side of Timbermen, and that's the important one right now, is that they're still working with weaker weaponry, but they're now going 1-for-1 on all of these kills, and when you're a player down Limitless, you can't afford to be doing that. They have to find the difference maker here. 2 left on this site. Nero, he's ready and waiting. So quick, so perfect on this trigger. Molotov is going to force that player down. Back away. They peek into Nero. He gets the first. Knows that there was one on stairs now. So wary, so many angles. The double peek. They peek one at a time. They let him isolate the fights, but luckily, Aleph, he's ready and waiting, and he's not going to let that slip through his fingers.
This was a round well-deserved by Timbermen. They start off with the right read. Nero goes in B with that op. It's 2 kills and ops. Single-handedly forces that take from Limitless to go elsewhere. Then goes around mid. And you might think, what's that 5-7 doing swinging for the fences? The entire idea was to set up Nero. Then you go back to A. Look what they do again. Swing from stairs. Nero peeks out and drops the bomb. And he even had a chance to line them up for the ace. He got a shot on the last man. But in the end, it was an almost clutch for Limitless, but still around for the Timbermen, who now put Limitless to the full eco, and they set up for a B exec.
B exec, they've tried it so many times. It's their fallback, their go-to plan. Aleph, nice nade there, however, it's not deep enough to do any damage. He gets the first, and the others, they haven't actually managed to get themselves out of apartments yet. He's trying to find a bit more, but Sandman gets 2. And out of nowhere, this is looking really good, but Snav, he's already ahead of everyone, going for more. DJF, 1, 2, make it more, and now Nero, the only one left alive, smoked out. That orb has no way back into this round. There is no way they're going to let him isolate every single one of these fights, and it is just his goal now to escape, to leave. And it's just a matter of insane multi-kills, and I'll be honest with you, I don't even see where Sandman got the second one. I saw the first kill.
They lined up. They lined up on Cat. That's what I was going to say. There was a crucial mistake made by the Timbermen in that round, and that was them accidentally lining up on Catwalk. You had the first fight getting taken through that smoke. I believe it was Snav who came through. Actually, no, it was Aleph. I'm sorry. He's the B defender. But he comes through on Cat. You see him start taking fights in front of that Cat smoke that Limitless aren't ready for. He drops the first. He takes a fight on the second. Ends up losing out the duel. But his supporting line, I believe, was then there on Cat. Accidentally lines up with him. So Sandman's only aiming for Aleph. He's not aiming for that second player. It just works out so perfect. And then everywhere you look, Timbermen, they lost their extra support on Cat. They have nobody else there that can really contend through that smoke. They're getting isolated in market. And it's one slight mistake that Limitless really extend the gap of to take that entire round.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of the time that Limitless are winning rounds off the back of Timberman faux pas. Of course, there's so much individual brilliance and there's so much team play behind them as well. And it feels like a lot of the rounds they're kick-starting it off the back of a mistake. The fact that they can see these and exploit them, that's where the skill in lies. Timberman, the rounds they're winning have just been outright brute force. And Nero looking to go for a little bit more brute force. All he's going to find, however, is a bullet to the skull. Tries to back away, does dare, but he's caught by Sandman. Snav trying to put up a fight. That nade is going to really hurt, and when he's low health already, it's getting dicey. But he does indeed escape. They've both got weapons, and it might just be their call to save here. That bomb was very committed over towards B, but now they have the whole of A. There's no point in not rotating it on over, and actually the Timbermen, they're going around the world here.
I was going to say, it was a tiny bit worrisome to see Cyrix so far committed, solo with the bomb. Those plays always feel miraculous when they happen, but hell, Timbermen have not been scared to aggress in the apartments, so slight bold call to make. Maybe lack of knowing that he had the bomb on his back. It happens more than you'd think, but didn't really make that much of a difference anyhow. Aleph is quick to get to ramp, however. Cyrix reacts in time and drops the MP9. One of the few weapons left in this Timberman tank is gone. And as you mentioned earlier, wait, did Cyrix not? I actually don't think Cyrix saw him. Snap popped his head up for a moment. Again, has to react late. Still, no dice, or rather, no sweat for Cyrix, who's been, honestly, around the scene for quite some time.
Yeah, he's been around the scene a lot. He had his little bit of a retreat, his evacuation from America, and had a little bit of a tour around.
Hey, we all need it once in a while.
No. I'm so jealous of him. I'm not gonna lie. He got to go see the world, and some of the photos were absolutely stunning, mind you. And then came back to Counter-Strike, so sort of temporary retirement. But he's been on so many different teams. He's subbed in for even more as well. And honestly, just a really great icon within the scene.
He's an opportunistic man.
He really is.
Respectable one.
You know, gotta get the Liquipedia points, man. What can I say?
It's smart. He knows what he's doing.
He's playing chess and we're all playing checkers, you know? He's like, I don't care about team consistency. I just want to play.
I'm not a big chess guy.
I'll be honest with you. I tried learning to play chess. I just don't think I'm smart enough. My brain doesn't work like that.
It's like, I don't know. Like, I know how to play chess. Not at a good, like, I'm not good.
It's like how they predict all of the moves, like 20 moves in advance, and I'm just like, I don't know what I did last move, let alone what's happening in 20 time, you know?
One Hikaru stream, he's like, oh, D3 opening, like, what? I just moved the pawn there, brother. What are you talking about? I ain't think about that.
They're making up words. I think they do it to gaslight us. It's not real.
Honestly, I've seen that Hikaru side eye. I know some of that stuff ain't real. You just say something, look, anybody catch that? Who's a fraud here?
What do you think we do on the casting desk anyway? We make up stuff.
Game recognizes
Tell
game.
me right now, what is a default? Go on. Try put it into words.
It is a telegraphed play that you start every unmarked round with. If not a specific call, you shift into a default.
It's
everybody
a
kind of knows their
isn't
own
it?
role.
It's like it's a mental construct because a default is different for everyone, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And there are some maps where there's like a meta default, right? But it's like the tier system in Counter-Strike, right? Like tier 1 teams. There isn't an official line. There's not an official, like, this is how many tournaments a year you have to attend to be tier 1. It's all a figment of your imagination.
And who thought they were signing up for philosophy on a Wednesday night?
Well, I mean, it's an eco round, and there's not been necessarily too much to talk about, so...
True.
If we can impart some of our wisdom and existentialism onto other people.
Of course. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma, says one famous starfish.
This is what happens when you put British people on North American time zones.
She said it, not me.
It's fine. I love it. I'll say it. North America region gets a lot more slack than I think it deserves. I think it's a great region. I think there's some awesome personalities in here. And we've got a pretty awesome game on our hands here as well. Timbermen, a very real possibility that they make this a 7-5 half. And of course, going down at the half, not exactly ideal, but you win the pistol round, suddenly you're pretty much even. So they can find one more here. That would be really nice. Limitless, they really want to make this a 4-8. And unfortunately, Sandman taking heavy, extensive damage and actually Dare. I think he spotted him through the edge of the smoke with a little bit of the part of the HE, and that is unfortunately a player disadvantage in Timbermen. However, are going to have to retake here. Knocked out of sight, and that bomb could go down. They have to deal with the ticket player first. Now that's snapped, dispatched of. Those smokes, they're still holding. They've got a couple of seconds, a couple of windows before we even get this bomb down, but they're still going for the fight, not being allowed to let up, and now Seb being left alone, but the bomb did actually go down.
I'll be damned. Their only goal is spotting out where this last man is, finding him and dispatching. Shot in the smoke. It's a great leg dare. Swings from the stairs. And I even thought for a moment Seb had the right idea and even the right execution, but he couldn't possibly know that that shot hit. He couldn't possibly know that Aleph was going to back off of it. So, a handshake of a half for Timbermen finds themselves down 5-7.
Hello, and welcome back, wonderful people. 7-5 is where we left off, and where we will resume our match. Limitless take a 2-round lead. Now, pistol round, this could be huge for Timbermen. This would even up the scoreline, but for Limitless, this would be a really nice one. That CT side pistol can be so monumental in crafting the half, and TJF looking to get aggressive with it. Spots ahead, isn't quite able to find it. Gets a goosh in exchange, and luckily Cyrix there to lend a helping hand. Seb takes a load of damage himself, but still alive. This team, however, is hobbling it against the pistols. They might be able to farm if they can get this bomb down the postcard. Suddenly even harder, even with the numbers. And now Snav wildly firing through the smoke. Not going to find anything, but I like that they're getting proactive. The best defense is a good offense. And they're taking that to heart. Sandman can hear it all, though.
He knows this is all calmed over. They know at least two are here. You find the last remaining man, and Sandwich in this round is donezo. But everybody's distracted on this con push. Too much so that they got no idea of Seb's flank. And I've got some, I don't want to call it breaking news, but some clinching scenarios for Limitless, right? So,
Okay.
After taking a deeper look, if Limitless win this map, they are instantly fans of Take Flight. Because Take Flight, if they were to take a map off of lag, that would secure Limitless a spot in ECL next season, assuming Mythic do not come back from being down 8-2 against Nouns currently. So, point is, Limitless win this map, Take Flight win their first map against lag, and guaranteed are Limitless to stay in ECL.
Ooh, that is an interesting one here. So a lot riding on this, but not only this, that's the worrying part when you get to these games at the end, is that you've done all that you can, and yes, there's this final game, this final push that you need to do, but 50% of their reliance right now is on how the other teams do. And that can be a scary position, because it's sort of up to fate sometimes. But they've got to have mind over matter, focus on this game first, because they've got to do their part whilst Take Flight does theirs. Nade, lovely. So much damage onto both Snav and Dare there. But no clue that they're actually hiding here. I say hiding, they're wide out in the open. It's not exactly summer. Two raccoons in a trench coat peering into window.
And it seems they get quickly evicted from the theater. That could have been one hell of an admission ticket. Dealing with the jungle player, having access to connector, could have been huge for Timbermen. But now, gonna have to create another way to get into this rated R film for themselves. And right now, it seems to revolve a lot around mid-control. Deeper establishing spots like in ladder, like in con. But Limitless know of this. And the rebuttal, they go into apps. They've got control of the plan. And they're set up for any crunch to come in.
And crunch they will. You can see Limitless, they're already starting to set up this defense. They don't even need it though, because Seb gets 1, 2, 3 whilst blind. Cyrix throws his name into the ring, and suddenly Dare left all by his lonesome, and there's fights on all sides. And that's a beautiful round to pick up there from Limitless. They secured themselves an early lead.
Quickly shutting down Timbermen, earning some respect. Honestly, late on into this game, huge ordeal. Again, the reason I put so much emphasis on Limitless needing to win both of these maps to guarantee their fate is because they don't have the tiebreaker over lag. Again, assuming that it's based off of wins and losses over a certain opponent, they got 2-0'd by lag. So, in order to have that spot over them, you have to have that map over them. So, that's why it's a clinch if they win and lag lose. However, win out both maps, spot's all yours. And I know that's exactly what they're aiming for, especially for their own futures. This round should be a formality. It's Deagles, it's P250. It's not much.
It's not much, but it's honest work. Timberman, nothing but pistols here to try defend the double digits. And Snav, he's got the read, he doesn't have the execution. TJF next to be up. They haven't yet spotted Aleph, but there we go, taken down. That's a little bit of a rough one, but still putting up a fight, isn't it? Tagging away, chipping away, but unfortunately, he is about to be dogpiled in the middle of this site. No bomb, no teammates, no utility, and suddenly, no HP.
It's actually so funny how that last duel goes down too, because Nero's just trying to work fights, and you have a nade that he catches a stray out from Khan, and then just instantly gets blasted from the side. Kind of a comical conclusion, but still, Limitless. Nobody's laughing yet since the job's not done. 3 away from making their lives a hell of a lot easier, and seems like Timbermen have got maybe 1 or 2 chances left to try and deny them of Mirage. It's a quick one, too. They instantly favor A. Smokes in mid, all a fake. They've got a molly to stop a rush. It's an anti-rush strat, but it's not going to work. The molly misses.
That is everything starting to fall apart early. Snav, early pick. It's a nice one to find. They are, however, already on this site, and the reinforcement's not far apart, but Snav, he's doing it all. His teammate's starting to pitch in a little bit, but single-handedly, the 2K to open up the round, and Limitless, they have to just call it off immediately, because there's nothing really they can do to now break this 5-person hold.
They just ran in. That was opportunity taken by Timbermen. You saw them run over toward ramp. They were already ready to go for an A pop. And I assume it was all off of if they got a look they wanted, which, when that molly misses, when it doesn't spread the way you need it to spread, and there's an easy way to get around it in ramp, why not? Everybody's there. You're ready to pop. You've got your exec lined up. So they go. They rip it. And Snab just finger on W. Runs him down. First guy, it was hard for him to catch his own breath because he was throwing utility for mid. Gets caught with his pants down. The second one, it's really just Snav running him down. And an op in con is no easy feat, apparently. So, it'll be another rifle for Limitless, but...
Open con is not exactly the most fun time sometimes. You can get a nice little peek, but, you know, oftentimes they're expecting somebody. Sometimes they're too hyper-focused on the window, but... it's an odd position. However, that's what you need sometimes. Mirage feels like a map that we've seen everything be done, and it's just a matter of picking the right strats to go up against your enemy. So sometimes when you see something a little bit unusual, it's nice to highlight it, nice to give it a go. Seb, ooh, bullets fired, and he's actually going to exchange a few in return, force them back. Maybe a little bit of a warning to them not to come here. And actually, it's worked quite nicely because they've gone to regroup with their teammates over towards B. Show a little bit of presence, nothing but drawing the attention away. But Timbermen, they're very, very passive on this round. They haven't even really poked their heads mid, and a minute off the clock already, pretty much.
This is a slow one from the Timbermen. I'd say pretty uncharacteristic of them. But they have got Limitless by the balls, and if they can really start to stretch that, then they'll have to put these champagne bottles quickly away. Sandman, though, not ready to keep that cork inside of it. Decides to pop it open a little preemptively. Same with the round. Same with the opening headshot. Sab follows with him, and it's a 3-on-5.
Seb knows where one is. Unfortunately, Molotov is going to interrupt his plans to reload, force him to reposition just a bit, but stay safe. Shane desperately hunting this kill, but look at that, the dodge, the parkour. He's managing to avoid all of the bullets. Seb having to switch over to the sidearm, run out of bullets in his primary weapon for now, and doesn't really have the opportunity or the room to reload. Shane, that is a wonderful headshot to be finding. That's so much of the pressure, so much of the cover taken away, but they're not quite ready for what Tender has to offer. Aleph is going to take him on down, but Sandman immediately there to trade, and these crossfires on the retakes have been awesome. They've been playing so well off of each other that nothing seems to be going untraded right now, and Timbermen, they're struggling with that a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like when these rounds do flesh out a little bit and we see Limitless start to develop into these comfortable defaults, they start to feel very, very comfortable. And Sandman, honestly, I feel like he's flown under the radar, but he's had crazy impact this game. We saw a couple rounds on T-side, most notably when he swung out for Palace tonight, a devastating loss to Timberman. We just saw it there, and he's been everywhere, man. He denied a big play in the first half again toward the end when it was that lineup on Catwalk.
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who are you gonna call? DJF is who you're gonna call. Shane does eventually manage to take him down, but it's already a little bit too late. Limitless, they have this round on lockdown. Sandman just throwing more utility in the kitchen sink at the issue in mid to try and keep them at bay. Unfortunately, they've already lost that connector, and mid has fallen, but it does look like they're trying to take it back. Sandman going into ladder room. No, I thought he was going to drop down. Hasn't. So they're not really going to be spotted just yet. Seb, however, nearest person by to try dispatch of this. Tender coming in from behind. Don't do it. They call this suicide for a reason. However, he actually strays away from tradition. He wins that fight on out. He breaks the norms. Now Nero. Ooh, rough one here. His attention slightly shifted, but the readjustment, simple, easy. Doesn't even break a sweat, but Sandman from Catwalk. This is where it all comes crumbling, and they know where Nero is now. He doesn't have the bomb. He's only got 26 seconds. He manages to find another pick, but still, monumental task ahead. 2 down, 2 to go.
Oh, but that was just a sandwich you were not getting by Cyrix. Even if he misses that shot, even if Nero hits the craziest shot of his life in a response, that's exactly why you had Seb tucked in a ramp. And honestly, Limitless, I think they played that mid-round flawlessly. Sure, it could have been using a bit more utility, very reliant on winning duels if they came their way, but you had them with their 2 players on B. After you know timbermen are taking mid, they fight for apps, nobody's there, they set up Nero on the off. Seb checks ramp, sees nobody there, sets himself up. Then you've got Sandman tucked in a ladder. It's a 1-for-1 angle, sure, but you'll take that when you're up by a man. And then you have an extra guy just doing whatever he wants, can rotate around if he needs to, take a long one through CT. That's Tender, who almost double dips in, as you called it, the murder hole.
Is it a regional thing? Because it's always really been known as suicide in, well, at least the circles that I've been playing in. And you guys call it murder hole. I like that.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple that are just, I've seen it called Jesus, because that's exactly who you meet when you peek it. And I think it's quite interesting. I like that there are different regional callouts. I think it's there's culture in the game. And
okay, please tell me you don't call A ramp pit though. Like, is that something we can?
I don't call it that, but I have heard it called that.
Okay, as long as you don't, we're fine. We're chill.
No.
It's not pit.
No, pit's on Inferno.
And I was thinking Dust too.
Don't mention Dust too. I'm still salty about the map right now. Don't want to talk about it.
Oh, trust me, I didn't want it back either.
Ooh, DJF, they can smell each other around the corner. Their backs away, and DJF is trying to see if he can spot the angle that the planter was on, but he hasn't. There's the peak, and actually the trade is immaculate. Cyrix needs a little bit more flash on over to try buy himself the space to work with, but they are just going to tuck in. Snav in Palace. All he has to do is wait and listen for the sound cues. He doesn't have to give his life away. He doesn't have to give this map away.
Cyrix, the rifle switch, I don't know how much it's going to help him out, and I think he realizes that this feels almost unwinnable, and indeed it seems to be. So he falls back to CT. I don't know where that op went. Maybe, I think he's waiting for it to be blown back to him, so all's well that should end well for him. And life is peachy keen for Timberman right now, just staying alive. So long as they can prolong, they're fine.
He manages, arms just about long enough to grab the AWP there. And he will get to keep that for himself. Now, this is a weird one, because he did manage to grab the AWP, but there's really not going to be a buy around it. So this isn't likely to be the final round of the map. This is likely to be a very quiet round, all things considered, because all they've got is a little bit of utility to support him. And he goes for that early peek. The smoke's going to blossom. Not going to see anything just yet. Dare hurling himself up mid, straight towards B, and unfortunately running straight into the stack there. Not able to find the first, and that's going to be the warning. Cyrix in the AWP. There's the first one to fall. Lining up, gets the second as well. Double dipping in the kills, and actually Aleph backing away.
Wait.
They know that the gamble stack has to be over towards here, so they can just head towards A, but look how far Seb's cleared.
I was going to say that almost doesn't matter because Seb knows nobody is in this region. Sandman's picked up an AK and thrown one back on Catwalk, and all he has to do is delay. Shane, not even considering Cat to be a possibility, and here's where Seb strikes. In a 2-on-5, doesn't matter if you trade it out. Go 1-for-1 for all they care. It's all up to Snav. Stuck in the most desperate spot you can possibly be in for the clutch. And he's at least mustered confidence for the one. Utility didn't come into them or into their favor this round, but doesn't seem to leave it that way either. They recover a lot on their escapade back into the A site, and Sandman clears house. Even though not necessarily the first man to strike, he's certainly the last one that we mentioned because 20 and 12, he took over Mirage.
I jinxed that right at the end, didn't I? by saying that this is unlikely to be the last round of the map. But it was, and that's a really nice statement win here from Limitless. We talked about how this is a map that they have a really poor win rate on. 1/3 of all times they've played it in the past 3 months is